let me give you the basics of doing business in the Philippines. And one of the first things that you have to understand is that you, and you, and you, as a foreigner. Hold on a minute. You as a foreigner, you as a foreigner, you 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 as a foreigner are not too smart. No, you're not too smart. So let me tell you why you're not so smart. A, D, and C. I can sit up front. Yes, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Now, we're only going to talk about the war stories that went on this week with Filipino interaction with Filipinos. And we're going to start off with something basic like eggs. Eggs. You would think that it's so easy to just go to the store and buy 3 trays of eggs, right? But it's not. It's not that easy. So let me explain. I should get the eggs. Oh God, I have 3 trays of eggs. They're still bundled. I could pick them up. Let me get the eggs. Hold on. I'm gonna go get the eggs. I'm getting the eggs. I want to show you the trick. The newest trick. The newest trick is to not give you the eggs that you ordered, and to not give you the eggs that you paid for, and to not give you your money back when you realize that you didn't get the product that you paid for the price you paid. See these eggs here? This is 100, this is 90 eggs, 90 eggs. So let me explain this to you. You go to the store and you want 3 trays of eggs from the same person who has given you 3 trays of eggs every month or 5 weeks for a year. And every month for a year or more, since Daisy was here for sure last September, every month these trays of eggs are 220 pesos. If Daisy buys them, but if I buy them, they're 250. So if I go in and order 3 trays of eggs, it's 250. But let's say I say I'm going to come back in 10 minutes, and Daisy goes in and orders them, it's 220. So it's a 30 peso difference. That's called the Cano tax, the long nose tax. Long nose tax. You got to understand, you're going to pay the long nose tax. So I eat about 7 to 8 or 9 eggs a day, DNC, every day. I'm on an egg diet. So I know it's a lot of eggs, right? So if Daisy buys the eggs, it's 220, but if I buy the eggs, it's 250. Now, if I say I don't want the eggs, and Daisy goes in the same store and buys the eggs, it's 220. So in December, Bantayan bro. Wait until they... Thanks for stopping by. So I go into the store. It was before Christmas. It's December 8th. I wanted eggs. I wanted to buy enough eggs to get me through January. Yes, they're going to hatch. I'm going to have 90 baby chickens. So, so I order. Now, this is what I order. I want extra large eggs, but they don't have extra large eggs. So the guy there, let's just say the guy's name is Stan, because it rhymes with spam and scam. So the guy there, his name is Stanley, the egg salesman. So I say, Stan, give me 3 trays of large eggs. Yes, sir. So he don't. I'm waiting in the tricycle. They want no. See, you jumped the egg. You jumped ahead too far. So I'm in the tricycle. He has 1 tray. Eggs are flat. That's right. Eggs are flat. The flat egg syndrome. So I stand. He gives me a tray of eggs. Large eggs. But underneath the large eggs were small eggs. So the top tray was large, and the 2 trays under the top tray were small. But I didn't see that because it's covered, right? They looks like 3 trays of eggs. This is in December 8th. So when I get home, I don't have 3 trays of large eggs. I have 1 tray of large eggs and 2 trays of small eggs. Now, small eggs should be $180 or $175 per tray. But I paid $250 for the large eggs, and then I paid $250 for the small eggs, 2 trays. So I paid 75 pesos more for each tray, 150 pesos more for 2 trays, and then that's $3, about $3. So they know what they did. Properly, I've been properly scanned, that's right. So now comes January, I need more eggs. So I go back and I see Stan. I said, Stan, I'm thinking he's going to argue about whether he gave me small eggs or big eggs. I was mistaken. Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong bigly wrong. I was like Donald Trump wrong, like when he was wrong about the lockdown. Well, we get into that later. So he said it would be 2 weeks, 1 vaccination, and it'd be over. Oh, I was wrong. He was wrong. He lied. They lie. They all lie. So Stan, I said to Stan, in December, you remember I bought eggs from you? Yes, sir. And you remember you charged me $250 a tray? Yes, sir. I said, but 1 tray on the top was large eggs. Yes, sir. And the bottom two trays were small eggs. Yes, sir. He didn't argue. He knew they were small eggs because he was the one who packed them. So I said, well, you charged me $250 for each tray. Yes, sir. I said, well, the small eggs should have only been $175. No, sir. Small eggs were at a premium that day. We gave you a discount. So, you want to know what it's like doing business in the Philippines? That's one example. So, I said to him, well, you know what? I will take 3 trays of eggs, and you give me 3 trays for $220 per tray, because that's what they give them to Daisy for. No, sir, $250. So I said, okay, I will go up the block and get eggs. Yes, sir, up the block. And he points to the neighbor who has 50 trays of eggs on her counter. Now, I don't normally buy eggs from her. I don't normally buy eggs from the lady up the block. But I do if Stan the man doesn't have eggs. I mean, a man that needs eggs needs eggs. So I go up the block and I buy the eggs from her in January. So now I have eggs left over from December, but I have eggs in January. So yesterday I need eggs. So I go to the store where Stan is, because that's the guy I've been buying eggs from going on 3 years. And Daisy goes there also. I said, Stan, do you have extra large eggs? Hey, Al Vargas. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Al. You should buy hens. No, I have eggs. Outside there's 3 or 4 chickens, a roost. I don't take their eggs, though. So 3 or 4 chickens have nests outside. I saw them yesterday. I was moving around. I said to Stan, do you have eggs? Thanks, Al. Do you have eggs? Do you have extra large eggs? So Stan, now I don't want large eggs. I want extra large eggs. See, this is the part in the title. Filipinos don't understand English the same way you do. So, yes, sir, we have. I said, okay, you give me 3 trays, because I'm not mad at the guy. He won't give me back my money because he gave me the small eggs that should have been $1.75 for each tray. He gave those eggs to me for only $2.50, and on that day, small eggs were at a premium. He gave me a discount. How big are the rooster eggs? Actually, they're not much smaller than the large eggs. But there were only 2 in one basket, and the one where there were 4, they were smaller eggs. So they were actually about the same. They're about the same size as a small egg in America, Flying Circus. So when I said to Stan, do you have extra large eggs? Now, did you hear extra large eggs? Do you have? Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Al. So I said, okay, put 3 trays together. So he puts 3 trays together. And you know what he did? He did the same thing he did in December. He put 1 tray of large eggs on top and 2 trays of small eggs on the bottom. Because he's doing me a favor. He's giving me the small eggs that are at a premium for the same price as the large eggs. So when I walked out of the tricycle, Eduardo was waiting for me, and I said to him, can I see the second tray down? Yes, sir. Like there's nothing wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't care that he slipped in the small eggs. And so my question was, do you have extra large eggs? Do you know there's a difference between small, medium, large, and extra large? You do know there's a difference. Well, so does he, because he sells eggs. So he takes the top tray off. I'll see out. Hey, g'day, mate. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. You never got me that email address. I'll see. You give me that email address. I'm going to put together the links for the flat earth stuff. I didn't do it yet, so don't worry about it. But try to get me, I don't know, if you had an email address that you put on your channel, I'll go get it. In your About section, you can put an email address, and I'll go look for it. You let me know when that's done. So now, I ordered, do you have extra large eggs? Yes, sir, we have. How many pesos? 260. So the 260 is for the extra large eggs. Thank you. I'll see all. So now, large eggs are 250, extra large are 260. Small eggs should be 175. That's what small eggs cost. That's what they cost everywhere. Even in the store, they're cheap like that. They're 5 pesos. 30 pesos. They're actually 5.5, so it's 175 in the mall. So now, he takes the top tray off, and he shows me 2 trays of small eggs under the top eggs. But the top eggs are not extra large eggs. They're large eggs, not extra large eggs. See, this is why foreigners are basically too stupid to understand English in the Philippines. In the English in America, maybe you understand. But in the Philippines, you don't understand English, because what you need to do when you buy eggs is fill out a 5-page agreement. So now, I said to Stan, the man whose name rhymes with Stan, Scan, like that. I said to him, Stan, these are 2 trays of small eggs. Yes, sir. But you're charging me $2.60 per tray. Yes, sir. The same price as the large eggs, extra large eggs. Yes, sir. But the extra large eggs are not extra large. They're large. Yes, sir. So why are you charging me for extra large eggs if you only have large eggs? Because you asked for extra large eggs. But he's not kidding, and I'm not kidding. So what he did was, he gave me the price for extra large eggs, thinking I wouldn't check that they weren't extra large eggs, but I did. So underneath the large eggs, thank you, underneath the large eggs are 2 trays of small eggs. Small, not medium. So I said to him, those are small eggs, right, Stan? Yes, sir. But you're charging me $2.60 for the small eggs. Sir, I will give them to you for $2.50 per tray. I will give you a discount. I said, but the small eggs should be $1.75. Yes, sir, but not today. Today, small eggs are at a premium. As if, I don't know, I have that. You figure it out, because it's up to you to understand their version of English. So I said, Stan, I want large eggs. Do you have 3 trays of large eggs? No, sir. I said, well, I will go down the block. Yes, sir, you go down the block. He points to the lady. I don't know her name, but I've been buying randomly. If Stan the man doesn't have eggs, he had an answer. So when I asked him, I said, Stan, do you remember in December you gave me the small eggs and charged me for the large eggs? Yes, sir. Small eggs were at a premium that day. So every day I go to the store to buy eggs, small eggs are at a premium, because they're going to, if you don't check. Now, would he give me the discount? No, he wouldn't give the money back or even give me a proper discount. He said they were at a premium. So I went down the block and I got 3 trays of LOL from DNC. You don't get no better than that. So I went down the block and I got 3 trays of large eggs for $2.50. In the meantime, that's only story number 1. This is the problem is that you ordered large, but you asked for extra large, so they're going to give you the extra large price. They're going to give you, because you asked for extra large eggs. Now, if you don't check, they're going to charge you for the extra large price eggs. But they don't have extra large eggs. They have large eggs, but only 1 tray. So now they're charging you for extra large eggs for large and small eggs. But that day, twice, I went in that day, twice, where small eggs were at a premium. You think I'm kidding you? I'm not kidding you. So I don't get any money back from December because they were at a premium that day. And yesterday he did the same trick. So I didn't buy them from Stan, and he wasn't mad. He just said the lady down the block has large eggs, because it's their job to get as much money from you as humanly possible. So that's one contract that would have gone to, I don't know what kind of a contract that is. Verbal agreements in the Philippines are worth nothing. So now, the first thing I wanted to buy was contact cement. I'm rebuilding a huge thing, and it has a gasket on it. And you have to spray contact cement on the gasket. You don't have to, but you should. So I go to Tire Queen. It's the biggest automotive store in Bohol. There's no other bigger store. And I said to the lady, I wish to buy 1 can spray of contact cement. See, this is the problem is you read the title, you are too ignorant to understand English. Even though you spoke English, the English that you spoke to the Filipino that you were going to do business with is not the English they understood. In the case of extra large eggs, the word eggs was in the question. The word large was in the question, and the word extra was in the question. So eliminate the word extra, because they don't have extra large eggs. They have 1 tray of large eggs, but not all trays of large eggs. So eliminate that, and they give you small eggs for the price of large, because eggs, the bottom line is you asked for eggs, they gave you eggs. You asked for extra large eggs, they gave you the price of the extra large eggs. They gave you the small eggs for the same price. You got to understand that this is standard operating procedure in the Philippines. So my first stop was Tire Queen, and I want to see 1 can of spray contact cement. You spoke slang. That's well, they have an answer for everything. You got to understand, when you come to the Philippines, these are seasoned people. These are professional people. Where have I heard that before? They have a school, the school of, we don't know anything other than you, foreigner, you are a walking ATM machine. That's what you are. No, I can't. I don't. But why would I want to have chickens? How many chickens? You know what would happen if a foreigner had chickens here? The Filipinos would steal them and have dinner every night. They would not. As it is, there's a chicken thief in the neighborhood. They're trying to hunt them down now. There's a chicken thief in my neighborhood. They're pretty sure they know who it is, because they saw him walking up the block with a chicken about a week ago, and they don't know if it was his chicken or their chicken. There are chicken thieves in the Philippines, believe it or not. And how long does it take to prep a chicken to eat it? About an hour in boiling water. But they asked me, did I see anybody taking their chickens? I said, no, I didn't see anybody taking your chickens. How would I know if it was their chicken or not? Well, because their chickens roost and lay eggs on my property. So therefore I must know who is taking the chickens. I have no idea. So no, I don't want to have 50 chickens. I don't want to buy bags of rice. I don't want to do that. But thanks. So now I go into the security. I have that. So I go into the store and I say, I want to buy 1 can of contact cement spray. Yes, sir. So they do their thing with the language, their language. So the lady I asked, I know who she is, I don't know her name. She asked another lady. That lady asked somebody else. About 4 of them got together. They talked about it for about 30 seconds, and the lady said, wait a while. She came back 10 minutes later with a tube of orange gasket seal. But by the way, I have 6 tubes of that. Having pizza, that kills me to have pizza. I saw pizza yesterday. I stopped by, I thought about it, but it was fast food pizza. I won't eat that. So she hands me the tube, the orange tube of silicone caulking. I have 6 tubes of that in stock. I always keep that stuff because I use it on a lot of jobs. So, very nice. Do you have a fire oven, a fire brick oven? I saw you can make an oven with wood that cooks pizza in like 6 minutes. A wood oven. You can use an aluminum baking tray, a commercial restaurant aluminum baking tray, and an old refrigerator. That's how it was, metal though. And they cooked pizza in there. It took like 6 minutes. Delicious. So I said to the lady, that's not spray on. That's not a spray on sealant. Yes, sir. It's the same thing. Starting to get back on the comments. Let me move over here to the comments section so I can see them on the big screen. So I said, but ma'am, it's not the same thing. That's a tube, and I want spray. Yes, sir. It's gasket sealer. So because it says the word gasket, eggs, gasket in the sentence, because it says the word gasket, gasket sealer, but I want contact gasket spray. So it says gasket on the thing, therefore it's the same thing. So I said to the lady, I want a gasket spray. Do you have that? Sir, this is the same thing. Now, here is this is the same thing. Now, here is what they do. When 2 or 3 of them, hey Dennis, thanks for stopping by. Here's what they do. I'm in the store. The guard, he comes over and stands behind me. Not because there was any yelling or anything like that, but he comes over and stands behind me. And then they said something to him, and he said something back to them. And now there's 3 ladies in the front of the counter, 3, because there's no business in the store. And the other 2 girls that I do know better, they say, Michael, my name, Michael, it's the same, it's gasket sealer. I said, yes, but I want the spray on. And the guard, he's right by my shoulder, and he goes, sir, it's the same thing. So, consensus. The consensus says it's gasket sealer. It's not spray on gasket sealer, but the consensus says it's the same thing. So I said, ma'am, I'm not in any hurry. I have a big job. I need 1 can. Can you order that for me? No, sir. Out of stock. So I said, so you have no gasket spray? No, sir. Here, use this. It's the same thing. They are going to sell you something. Number 1, I don't need. I could walk outside and show you 6 tubes of that stuff. No problem. I have 6 tubes of that. I have 3 tubes of goop that John Blaze gave me, and I have 2 tubes of silicone black sealant rubber. I don't need that stuff. Okay, so they don't have it. So I said, thank you. So now I go to Tabal. Tabal is another automotive store right next door to Builderware, in case you're looking for automotive parts in Bahal. Tabal, Tabal, Tabal. Tire Queen is next to the big church, 1 block away. If you stand in front of Tire Queen, you can see the big church as you come into the city. So there's Tire Queen and Tabal. Now, Tabal is good for getting, if you have a truck that you're working on and you want to put front bearings and bearing seals. They have almost every size bearing and races. They have a lot of stuff in Tabal. So now I go into Tabal and I see my favorite friend, my little friend who's been servicing me for 8 years. I need contact spray on contact cement. Now what I do, Diamond, hey Diamond, the king of the Ferengi, Salamat, I'll get the pot momentarily. So the name of the lady is Glacia, that's her name, Glacia. So she comes, now all the people, there's 11 women, and they're like this, looking at me, walk into the store. The store's open in the front, the guard. 11 women and the guard are looking at me like this. They're waiting. They're waiting for me to yell out, I love you, Glacia. I love you, ma'am. Because for 8 years, when I drive by in the tricycle, I yell out, I love you, Glacia. I love you, man. And for 8 years, they wait for me to say that when I walk into the store. So they're all sitting there waiting, and I'm going, I was in a hurry. I wasn't thinking. So I said, I love you, Glacia. Everybody starts clapping. They're clapping. Yeah, and they're laughing, and they're clapping. Did you bring chocolate? They wanted their chocolate, is what they wanted. They wanted, I love you, Glacia, and I usually bring them a box of Skittles. I didn't bring chocolate because I was in a hurry. So I said, Glacia, I need a can of spray-on contact cement. Do you have? Yes, sir. Yes, Michael, we have. So she disappears. She comes back maybe 30 seconds later, with a little teeny tube about this big. Where is that bottle? It's a small tube. It's a tube of contact cement about this big, but a little bit higher, like this high. Contact cement. It has a brush in there. I have 2 of those. It's about 1.5 ounces. I have that. Sir Michael. Oh, now it's Sir Michael, because now they want money from me. So she goes, this is the same thing. And I said, no, I want spray on. Contact cement spray on. But that says contact cement, brush on. It's the same thing. It's contact cement. You see, this is what you don't understand. So, now let me tell you something about my friend Glacia. Okay? Her real name is Glyce. 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 We call her Glacia because she won't give me a kiss. So I call her Glacia. They know what Glacia means. But I call her Glacia. Her name is Glyce. So, I said to her, back in October, I had a motor in the shop. And they needed 24 springs. And she says, we have. So she takes the springs and she goes away, and upstairs, 3 floors, upstairs, there's men that are going to take my spring and they're going to look for my spring in the spring box. Apparently there's a box of springs. No name, not numbered, a box of springs. And they dump the box out onto the table and they look for similar springs, because some of them are used, most of them are used, some of them are new. So whenever they take an engine apart, they take the parts out of it and put them in a box. Damon, I have to get the pot. Okay, I can't forget to bang a pot. Where's my... What happened to the thing? What happened to the pot banger? Not that. I know where it is. I'll be right back. So, the guy comes back with 24 springs. But they're not the same. 12 of them are the same. And 12 of them are a different spring, but a different size spring. But again, they're not the same as the one spring I gave the lady, Glyce. So this is the problem with you people. You don't understand English. This is the problem with you foreigners, that you don't understand English. So Glyce, I give her 2 samples, a small and a big. I had them marked with this stuff here. I had my springs marked with an orange tape. So they give me back my originals, because springs couldn't be a small amount off, but they're no good for, if it's for a certain motor, it's got to be that spring. So she gives me 24 springs, and she charges me for the springs, the valve stems, and 2 sets of intake and exhaust valves, $150, $150. And I said, so you can't buy only intake valves, when you can't buy only exhaust valves. You have to buy a set of 4, because they don't have a set of 6 or a set of 8. So if I want 6, I have to buy 2 sets of 4 intake and 4 exhaust. Then I will have 8 intake and 8 exhaust. I'll show them to you. So they come in this box, Fuji. engine valves. And they come 4 exhaust. The bottom are 4 exhaust, and the top are 4 intake. So you have to buy 4 and 4. You can't buy 6. You can't buy only intake. Even though the boxes are separate boxes, you can't buy only intake. You got to buy intake and exhaust. So now I have enough valves to do an 8-cylinder engine, but I don't need that much. So these valves here, there's another scam coming up with the valves. So I said to the lady, look, all right, give me the valves, give me the springs, $150. I said, but these springs are, the valves are the same valves, but these springs are different. Sir, not a problem, sir. Full refund. If you come back, full refund. Can't go wrong with that, right? Full refund. I bring the springs and the valves to it's a huge machine shop. I bring them there, and they have everything apart, and they got it all laying out on the table. They're waiting for the springs, and the fella says, "No, these are not the right springs. Bring them back. Go to Cebu. You have to go to Young's Auto. Young. I show you Young right here. Young. Got to go to Young." Where is that? Young's. Gotta go to Cebu. Gotta go there. You can't get them here. You gotta go to Cebu. So, where's my receipts? I go to Cebu. Yeah, I lost that receipt. But anyway, maybe I just threw it out, because that was a long time ago. Anyway, Young's Auto is where you go. Young's. Y-O-N-G-S. Young's Auto is 2 blocks away from the boat port. Young's Auto Supply. Yeah, I must have put that in with that motor job. Okay, so probably put it in with the billing. So now I have 24 springs. The valve stems were good. The valves were good. But the springs are no good. So I bring the springs back, and she says, I said, what would you like to do, Michael? Now, all of a sudden, now I'm Michael and Sir again. Damon, they gave it to me good in the Philippines, baby. Damon, the head of the Ferengay, is the man who gave me super chat. Salamat, Damon Bra, the head of the Ferengay, very generous today. Damon, I like that name, Damon, because I like Ferengay. The Ferengay are the warriors with no morals, none at all, and they have the rules. The 192 rules of acquisition the Ferengay have to guide their lives, and the people of the Philippines have copied the Ferengay rules of acquisition, and now they live their lives using the rules of the Ferengay acquisition. Rule number 1, there are no returns. No cash returns. No cash returns. Full refund available, but no cash returns. The Ferengay rules. The Philippines. The Philippines use the Ferengi rules of acquisition. Why charge once when you can charge twice? That's what you get when you use a cashier named Gleiss. Why charge once when you can charge twice? When you use a cashier named Gleiss. Gleiss will charge you double and laugh all the way to the bank. She don't care if you can use the parts. She doesn't care at all. Ferengi rule of acquisition number 2 is don't worry if the customer is mad at you. Ferengi acquisition number 3 is if you can see them coming, jam it in. Get ready to jam it in. Get ready to jam it in. He's only a stupid foreigner. You make believe he has an ATM on his forehead and you give it to him good. The Ferengi rules of acquisition are in full effect in the Philippines. I'm gonna put those rules up one day. That actually, I just realized that the Ferengi rules of acquisition is the way they do business here in the Philippines. So I said to Gleiss, these valve springs are no good. Yes, sir. Here's the receipt. Yes, sir. What would you like to do? I bought the springs at 11 o'clock in the morning. I brought them to the machine shop at 11:30. I came back, it's 1 o'clock after lunch. I would like a refund. No, sir. But you said if they don't fit, don't worry, it's a full refund. Yes, sir. I'm not okay, what is it that I don't understand? Is there a refund? Yes, sir. Can I have a cash refund? No, sir. You can have credit. Well, that's not what you said. You didn't ask, sir. I said, I've been doing business with you for 8 years. And you're going to give me credit? Yes, sir. You're not going to give me any cash back? No, sir. What would you like, sir? What would you like to make an order now, or would you like to take credit? I said, well, I'll take it now. This was back in October. So I took 6 tubes of the caulking, the silicone gasket seal. I took 1 gallon of diesel fuel conditioner, 1 gallon of gasoline fuel conditioner. I took an oil filter for that engine because eventually I'm going to have to change the oil on that engine again. I took a fuel filter, 2 fuel filters for that engine, and that came to the balance of what the difference for the springs was about. And there might have been I think there was $8. I said, I don't need anything else. So she goes, okay, we'll give you back the balance in pesos. So it was $8 in pesos. So this is what you don't understand. When they said full refund, I got a full refund. An hour and a half later, she gave me not a cash refund, but credit refund. And then there was $8 in cash that she did give me. I said, I don't need anything else. Give me back my money in cash, please. Okay. So the whole time, the owner of the store, she's Chinese, by the way, she knows me well also, because she's the first one to ask for chocolate. She owns a store that if you sat there in America when you want to do a business, you go into the store that's doing business, that you're doing business in, and you sit there in front of the store with a counter, and you see how many people walk by the store, number one. But then you go in the store and you have lunch, and you see how much food they sell in 1 hour. at lunchtime. And then you do the same thing for dinner, and then in the middle of the day. And you can judge how much money they do a day if the business is worth it. If I sat there and counted how much pesos that woman does in pesos, or they on a good hour, they'll do I'm not kidding you, they will do 1 million pesos in business in 1 hour. There's 11 salespeople at the counter, and there are 4 people filling out orders that go out the side door. They have nothing to do with the cashier. So 1 million pesos an hour. Some people come in and they buy, they ordered a piston set for a 671 Detroit diesel. And then maybe they order 2 sets. That itself is $2,500. That's a 500,000 pesos somebody bought when I was there in October. 500,000 peso order for one order. So a starter will be 25 to 40,000 pesos for a starter. So they do a lot of business, but they didn't want to give me back. And the woman who owns the store is Chinese. She will be the first person to ask me for chocolate. Did you bring chocolate? Why don't you buy chocolate? Why don't you buy chocolate for everybody? Sir, I cannot do that. If I do that, I will go broke. Well, why should I buy it? Sir, you are rich. That's their answer. At that point, when I hear that, I walk out. They all say it. They all believe that there is no amount of funds that you can't get or you don't already have, and you certainly don't need all those funds. So, what will they do? What will that Chinese woman, let me tell you something. That Chinese woman gets there at 7 o'clock in the morning. She leaves at 7 o'clock at night, or when the store closes. She sits in that store 6 days a week. She collects 1 million pesos an hour. 8, 5, 6, 7, 9 million pesos a day. She might make, I don't know, I don't know what the profit is. Probably she makes 3 million pesos a day. 60,000 US dollars a day. So what does she do with that money? She sits in the store. She's been in that store every day, 6 days a week, for 7, 8 years. Jim Bob, I hate. She's never left the store. The other lady that owns THIER Queen, she's Chinese too. She never leaves the store. She gets there at 7:15 in the morning. The guard opens up. She goes into her room. She sets up whatever she sets up, and then they leave at the end of the day. They work all day long, 10, 9, 11, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Their whole life, they don't do anything but make money. Will they buy the women at the cash registers? I mean, at the counter? 11 women, 3 men in the back. Will they buy them snacks? No. Will they buy them? I buy Skittles, like I buy a box of Skittles, 16. There's no other choice, Jim Bob. That both automotive stores are owned by 2 Chinese women. There are no other automotive stores. You don't have a choice. Same thing with the ICM Mall and BQ Mall. They're both owned by Chinese corporations. There is no other choice to buy stuff in a mall or food store. If you go, I buy food in the food store. The Chinese have indirectly taken over the Philippines. That's a fact. So that was yesterday. I wanted eggs. They tried to, they gave me the Fugazi small eggs instead of the big eggs. I wanted contact cement. They tried to sell me something I didn't want. So now, where do I go next? I go into to buy vegetables. And I said, how many pesos for garlic at one store that had some fresh garlic? but it's not the store I buy from. I do buy from them. If the second store I go to doesn't have garlic, I go back to the first store. So the lady says 100 pesos. That's really good price. 100 pesos. That's $2 a kilo. So I said to the lady, okay, she knows I'm going to go next door. I said to the lady, oh, that's so cold. That ice is 8-degree ice. I love 8-degree ice in the morning. It freezes up your palate. So I said to the lady, I'm going to go next door. She goes, okay, they all know me. So I go next door, and there's a new lady at the counter. It used to be owned by a guy named Bill. Here's another scam. Bill sells the store to a new person. Bill sells the store to a new owner. So 2 months ago, I said, where is Bill? Bill is home. Bill is working on his house. Bill is sick. Bill is helping his father. Bill is not coming in today. Bill just left. Well, what Bill did is he sold the store to different people. The brain freeze. So, yes. But Bill never told me he was selling the store, not that he has to. But the new people never told me they bought the store. So I said, look, in December, I said, look, I want to talk to Bill. Sir, Bill is not coming in. Call Bill up on the phone. Call him up on the phone. I want to talk to Bill. Bill, I've been buying vegetables from Bill since 2014. Call him up on the phone. No, sir. Why not? Sir, Bill is not here. That's why we're going to call him. No, sir. Well, I want to talk to Bill. I come in here every week and I buy 500 pesos worth of vegetables every week since last August. Bill has not been in the store. I want to talk to Bill. Sir, Bill is busy. Well, he's not in the store. He's not here. He hasn't been in since August. He's at his father's house working. He's at his house working. He's sick. You call Bill. I had about 600 pesos in vegetables on the counter. You call Bill. How much for the garlic? 150. I said, 150? The store next door is 100. Yes, sir. You go buy from them. So I said, you call Bill now. No, sir. Why will you not call Bill? This went on for a minute and a half. I wish to speak with Bill. I've been buying from Bill for 8 years. I want to talk to Bill. No, sir. Why not? Bill no longer owns this store. So since August, they have been lying to me as to why Bill has not been in the store. Bill is at his father's house working. Bill is working at his house. Bill is sick. Bill just left. Bill will not be here today. Bill will come in tomorrow. So after, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months, they've been lying to me as to why Bill is not in the store. Now, I didn't really care, but when they told me they want to charge me $150 for 50% more for the vegetables in general than the store next door, I want to talk to the owner, because Bill always gave me a good price, always gave me a reasonable and fair price. So Bill doesn't own the store anymore, but it took not 8 months for them to admit it. I kind of figured he sold the store after a few months, but I don't really care. But then when they charged me 50% more for the vegetables, Then the store right next door, let me talk to Bill. No, sir. He's not available. He cannot talk to you. And then finally, after a minute and a half, well, Bill doesn't own this store anymore. Why didn't you just say so? Because they can't. Their job is to take as much money from you as they can. That's good business. That's good business. But the people right next door, garlic is 100, cabbage is 60. In the store that Bill used to own, cabbage is 90. But being that I was a steady customer, I paid it. I didn't care about the other store. But now I want to talk to Bill, because now it's getting out of hand. It's 50% more for everything, or 30% more. No. This is what you got to deal with when you come to the Philippines. This is what you get. Now, was that the only thing I did yesterday? No, I did a couple of other things. So I'm at the gas station with the tricycle driver. And I get out, and I'm paying for the tricycle gas because I have to pay him for the tricycle anyway. So I just deduct the gas from the bill. And he was really tired. The guy worked till 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a plane that takes off from Panglao Airport, so he does a lot of runs at night. Either way, we were online, and he put his head down on the steering wheel to take a nap. So I get out to pay for the fuel for the tricycle. And there's 2 women there, really, one mother and one daughter. And the daughter was very attractive, but she was with her mother, and they were just getting gas. And she was probably about 22 years old. So she smiles at me. I said, hello. So where are you from? They always ask you that. I'm from New York. Oh, New York. Oh, I would love to go to New York. Well, you know, I don't know what to tell you, because going to New York, they think that New York is something wonderful, and I spent 40 years of my life there. So, you know, New York is just New York. I've been to every museum that I wanted to go to. I've been to hundreds of theaters and theaters down in off-Broadway and Broadway. I've been to all the big museums, all the parks, Central Park. I worked across the street from Central Park on and off for years. So they can never afford to go to New York, but I say, okay. So it comes time to pay the fella for the gasoline for their motorcycle. And they put 500 pesos in. And the girl says he will be the one to pay me. Because I was talking to her. And she was getting ready to leave. And then the guy would have asked me for the 500 pesos. Because we were talking together. So the guy could deduce that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but we're not. And I said, where are you going? She goes, I heard her say he would be the one. He would be the one to pay is what she meant. So I'm going, I don't know her. You don't know her? No, you know I don't know her. She's not my girlfriend. Okay, sir. So he tells her, ma'am, it's 500 pesos. She gave him the 500. But that's the kind of stuff that happens in the Philippines. If you're walking... Okay, so now I'm in front of my house, and I have the 3 trays of eggs right here. 3 trays of eggs. It's in the jeepney. It's in the tricycle. Do you know how many people asked me if they could have 1 tray? Not 1 egg, 1 tray. You give me 1 tray. 2 people. 2 people. I said, no, Do you wish to work? Do you wish to do some work? No, sir. You give. Because they knew they knew what I wanted. I mean, if you want to do some work, there's a beach. The beach has to be cleaned up. There's a lot of debris on the beach. Apparently, the wind's been blowing from the ocean for now 5 months. And I was trying to get people to go to the beach to clean it up for the man next door. He wants to hire somebody. The Stanley House wants to hire somebody to go to the beach to clean it up. So I said, do you want to work cleaning up the beach? No, sir. You just give one tray. I will not. So, but if you said, yeah, okay, they will take it. So they push you, they push you, they push you. They say one thing, they do something else. So I would not give them the eggs. They're okay with me not giving them a tray of eggs. They knew that wasn't going to happen anyway. But if you ask them if they want to work on the beach, cleaning up the beach for a tray of eggs, no, they don't want to do the work either. I could tell you story after story about how they will, yes, I'm a good worker, I'm a good worker. It's the same thing. And when they start working for you, you leave the job, they all just sit around and mull around when you're not there. I watch the people next door work. When the owner of the property is there, they're building a big house. They work their butts off. When she's not there, 2 hours they sit there for breakfast. From 8 o'clock in the morning till the 10:30 break is over. 2.5 hours. They just sit there and do nothing. 2.5 hours, 5 men doing nothing. The owner pulls in, they go right back to work. Busy little beavers they are. You got to be on the job. You got to pay attention to what's going on. I don't hire anybody, so it doesn't matter. But for that lady, she comes, the lady is the boss and owner of the property, a woman. She knows what they do. She knows that they stand around and do nothing. Because she came one day and she didn't park the car in front of the job. And I was up on the roof and she was looking at the men sitting there at the breakfast area where they cooked the food, and she was just sitting like across the street outside the gate watching them for a long time. And I was up on the roof watching her watch them. And she never said a word. She just sat there. She just leaned up against the fence across the street. She just sat there and watched them. And nobody knew she was there. And then when she walked towards them, they saw her. But she was there solid 20 minutes, maybe longer, because I was working, looking around. There she knows that they do nothing when she's not there. That's just part of living in the Philippines. And all right, so Mr. Fluffy says, how? No. This is standard operating procedure. That if you're not on the job and you're paying them by the day, they will drag a 3-hour job into 3 days if they can. No, this is the way it is here. It's an acceptable way to do business here, too. If you're on the job, they'll work hard. If you're not on the job, they may not work. Some will, but not the local crews around here. The men that will work all day long are the men that you hire. Here is the job. Here is your contract. And you do this job for $10. You do this job. When you're done with this job, you get $10. They'll hustle their butt off. They'll be done in 2 hours. An example of that would be in America, you don't hire a mason necessarily to do a job. You hire a mason, you pay him $1 per block, B-L-O-C-K. $1, 1 block. You buy the sand, you buy the mortar mix, you buy the cement, because you're going to need a half a shovel of cement in every mortar mix, and you buy the block. And you provide the cement mixer or the hoe, the bucket, the mortar pan. You supply that, and they charge you $1 per block. Now here in the Philippines, they will charge you $1 a block, and they'll do in one day. They'll do 50 blocks. They won't do more than 50 blocks in one day. But if you pay them by the day, not by the block, they're going to do 20 blocks. So they do 2.5 times as much when they work for themselves as they do for you when you pay them by the job. So it pays to pay them by the block, and then you don't care how long it takes. So, but if you pay them by the day to put block up, for 2 men, you're going to get 20 blocks a day. 20. On a good day, 25. Maybe 27 blocks. I watched this go on for years. Every job is the same. 20, 25 blocks a day, 2 men. And it takes them all day to do it. But if you pay them by the block, they'll do 50 blocks and they'll be gone at 1 o'clock. These people that tell you it gets better and better in the Philippines. If you pay a contractor to do a job as a contract, it's going to get done fast. If you pay them by the day, it's not going to get done in the same period of time. Let's see what Jim Bob, who has a lot to say, let's see what Jim Bob's channel has to say. Does Jim Bob have content on his channel? Let's see if I'm answering him or he's just a troll. Which is it? Is he a troll? Does he have content? Does he really stay in Cebu? No, he's a liar. He has no content. He has no videos of Cebu. He has no videos of any content on his channel. He's trolling. He's gone. Jim Bob, leave all the comments you want. You will not get a response from me. You have no content on your channel. I don't respond to people that have no content. But thanks for stopping by. So, how do you know I don't stay part? I don't care whether you stay part-time in the Philippines or not. You have no content on your channel. Why? Answer that question. Why do you have no content? Nothing. You don't have content from where you live. You don't have content of what kind of car you drive. Okay. All right, so you leave all the comments you want. But there's no reason that I have to respond to your content. I only respond to people that have content on their channel or people I know. Otherwise, I could be here for months. I don't see the point in responding to people with no content on their channel. Do you not understand that concept? That I have the right to choose who I want to talk to and who I don't want to talk to? You're asking me one question after the other. You want to take up my whole chat window, but you have no content. You offer nothing to the Philippines. See, he's trolling me now. Adios, Jim Bob. It was nice to have seen you. Bye-bye for now, Jim Bob. Start a new channel. And watch this. I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to make you famous. What does it matter? It matters because I explained it to you and you're still trolling me. That's how it matters. Hide user on this channel. This is what trolls do. He's chewing up the chat window with worthless... Jim Bob, I don't care. Hide user on this channel. Now you're gone. And you're gone. Jesus. You asked me a question, what does it matter? I explained to you it matters because you have no content. It's my channel. I will respond to the people I want to respond to. You are now taking up my entire chat window and giving nothing back in return. So I gave my audience the information on how to block somebody permanently. What does it matter? It matters because those are the rules that I run my channel by. I don't care. You're going to ask 100 questions. You're going to chew up. You've just wasted 7 minutes of time in my live stream, and you have nothing to offer. I stay part-time in the Philippines. What does that mean? You have no proof of that. For me, you're just a troll, and I don't want trolls on my channel. So you got another minute. See? You people are just unbelievable. You want to come and you want to troll, and you also said some derogatory things, but you don't know. Bam! Dennis. I'm surprised Dennis didn't do that. He's my workhorse when it comes to blocking people. No, this is what the trolls do. This is what trolls do. They come. He said, "Hey, you." Then they give you a pat on the back. Oh yeah, they don't know. The people that don't know, they have to listen to Michael Fazio. I don't need your left-handed compliments. I'm telling people a story, and you're interfering with my storytelling time. And if you have content, even if you would have had content of a motorcycle on where you live, a content of a trip that you made down the highway, you have nothing to offer anybody other than your blah, blah, blah. We call that blah, blah, blah in the Philippines. Worthless commentary. Blah, 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 and you got blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 that. I don't care whether you come to Cebu part-time or not. Show us something. Show us the hotel that you stayed. Oh, you can't do that anymore. You're a memory. And I remember your name from a long time ago. Jim Bob. It's not like I don't remember. It could be a bunch of people named Jim Bob. Jim Bob! Hey, just in case I don't see you for your birthday, happy birthday. Look at all of this. Look at all of these messages that he has. Look at all of these messages that have been removed. Look at all of these. Jim Bob is the only person commenting. Well, let's just go over here. Look, since he came on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 messages. Does he throw a super chat at us? No. Does he give any content? Does he say, no. He's just trolling. This is a professional troll. So we got professionally removed. Hide this user on my channel. Happy birthday, Jim Bob. So with that, the girl at the gas station, to digress, she tried to scam me for 500 pesos. Because I was talking to her because she wanted to talk and I had nothing to do. I'm waiting for, there was like 4 people ahead of us. And then when it came time to pay, she said, he will be the one. That means and I heard that. Because I was standing 2 feet away from her. I heard her say, he will be the one. But she waited for my back to turn. So I'm thinking, well, why will I be? And she got on her motorcycle, but I know she didn't pay. I said, she's got to pay for that gas. I knew what she was doing. So she tried to scam me for 500 pay. Why? Because you're a foreigner. It's not no other reason. Could I have paid the gas? Of course I could have paid for the gas. But am I dating her? No, she's 22 years old. She's with her mother. She came out to the gas station to get gas. She probably married and has a boyfriend or children. None of those things do I know or care about. But all I care about is she tried to get me for 500 pesos. And most foreigners might say, yeah, okay, I'll pay for her gas. I won't. I don't know her. She's not My girlfriend? Oh, I have a story. I have a story talking about girlfriends. Oh, I'm gonna come on this week. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you what this. I'm leaving now. I have other things I want to do. I'm gonna tell you a story about the first place I ever kissed a girl. The first room that I was in that I ever kissed a girl, ever, when I was about 7 years old. Her name was Marjorie. And then the other girl that I kissed was Joanne. And we played doctor. So the first room I was ever in my life, this you're going to have to pay for this one, but I have a story coming up, and I have pictures also. I have pictures of that room. But not of Marjorie or Joanne, but pictures. This is my memory of the first girl I ever kissed and the first girls I ever played doctor with. Was in a room, in a house that my best friend Tommy Austin used to live in. Okay, so, and him and I, we've spent thousands of hours in each other's houses. He lived right on the water across the street from my mom. And Tommy and me and Vinny and Joanne's brother and Frankie Satoma and all of us, we used to play spin the bottle. And that was the first house that we played spin the bottle and doctor. And doctor was a big game back when we were 7 or 8 years old. So that room, a few weeks ago, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and the owner of the house, who I was the first person, she's my friend's mother. So George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and my friend's mom were in that room, but I had just recently, I've known her since I was her paperboy when I was 12 years old. And we have video of George Clooney and Brad Pitt in the room where I first kissed the girl. And not only that, but the girl, my friend's mother, another George, otherwise known as Handsome, who comes to my channel, Handsome George. His mom, I kissed his mom since, hello, you know, we say hello, we kiss each other hello. I've been getting kisses on the cheek from his mom for 40 years, 30 years, since I was probably 15, because they used to invite me over for Christmas. So, and she always bought me a sweater or a gift on my birthday and Christmas, because I was her press boy, but she was just a generous woman. So I kissed a woman before George Clooney and Brad Pitt kissed her in her house. And we'll have that story this week. Of all the houses in the United States, they picked her house, my friend's house, the house where I got my first kiss, the room that I got my first kiss in, the room where I first played spin the bottle, the room where I first played spin the bottle. They were in the room that I first played spin the bottle. They made a movie in that room. So I don't know if that makes me famous or not, but it's a true story. And I have video, but it's in my cell phone. So of all the houses in America, they're filming a movie. They choose the house where there's a woman that I kissed before they were born. How's that for being almost famous? It's a true story, though. I had so much fun with that when I was on the phone with Handsome last night. We laughed for 45 minutes. What else did you do in that? Now, we played spin the bottle. I was the first room The first place I ever played Spin the Bottle, and the first time I ever played Doctor. In that room that George Clooney and Brad Pitt were in just a few weeks ago. Does that make me famous? Am I almost famous? Knowing this, I have one up on Brad Pitt and George Clooney because I kissed George's mother before they did. I got the whole story. I'll give you the whole story. I'll make another event out of it. I'll give you pictures of Handsome. I didn't confirm whether or not I could give that video out, but we have video of them in the room where I played Spin the Bottle. I played first place. I kissed a girl. First place. I played Doctor. First place. Does that make me? That's the question. Does that make me famous? No. I don't see any chat. I think it makes me famous. I kissed the woman that George Clooney and Brad Pitt kissed 2 weeks ago before they were born. I was first. Okay. I don't see any more comments, so I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks, Dennis. Damon, Salamat, Jim Bob. I remember you, Jim Bob. You were useless then, too, but it's okay. And Jim Bob, I don't have any responsibility to answer anybody that doesn't have content. You took up the whole chat, 14 comments in 5 minutes. 14 comments in 5 minutes, right? Do you own this channel now, Jim Bob? Jim Bob just got more time. Thanks, Al. Al Vargas. Now, Al, I've known... I wouldn't even check Al's content because I've known Al Vargas since 2010 or 11. And he's always been hello and how are you? And I've known him for 13, 14 years. But Jim Bob, you wanted to take over the live stream. Hey, you could have rented the live stream for some super chat. You can always rent part of the live stream. Start another channel. Call your channel Jim Bob 2. Throw some super chat up on the wall there, and I'll let you take over the chat. Jesus Christ, you guys, the trolls are just an amazing thing in the Philippines. So what we're going to say is Amping Permi. Let me see if I got any messages. Oh, let's see what messages I have on Messenger. Thank you, Alcino Vargas. Thank you. I'm just checking my messages from Messenger and Skype. Whoa! I can't show this to you, but I'll read it to you. Wow. We have oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I wish one day I have a file. One day I will show you these videos. These emails. I just got a letter, an interesting letter. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll do that another day. Oh, boy. Not gonna... All right, go back to the inbox. We will not read that. I'm just telling you that there is some stuff happening. There is some stuff happening. Okay, that's it. I'm Ping Permi from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. And of course, Ping Permi means take care always. Deman, salamat for the super chat. I'm going to get the Ferengi rules of acquisition, and I will show you how the Ferengi rules of acquisition parallel the Philippines business rules. This place is a trip, man. You have to write. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. Okay, so the guy who I had to give the parts to rebuild the motor back in October, there's a guy. He owns a big machine shop. He tells me $100 to take the old valves out, resurface the valve seats, lap the valves, put new valve stems and new valves in the motor, $100, which is the same price I got from another machine shop. So I said, okay. So it took me months to find the springs. I ended up I had to go to Cebu. I went to 17, 18 shops and junkyards to get what I needed. I spent days doing this. Days in Cebu. Multiple days. And at a cost of $500. So he gets all the parts together first week of February. I give him all the parts, and he puts all the parts are in a box. He already lapped the valves. He already resurfaced the valve seats. That's all done. And all the parts that we had that were usable are in the box. And now I gave him the 24 new springs, or I gave him the springs that were missing because I couldn't buy new springs. I bought new springs from Tabal, but they were the wrong springs. I wanted all new springs. Couldn't do that. So I give him the parts. I take a huge piece of cardboard, 4 foot by 4 foot piece of cardboard. I laid out every part, every keeper. A keeper is the thing that holds the valve into the spring retainer. I give him all the retainers, all the valve retainer clips, all the springs, all the stems, everything is done. I give it all to him. He seats the valves, he laps the valves, and he goes, okay, your job is done on a Friday afternoon. I go there, and the valves were marked. You mark it with a center punch to each seat. Each valve is lapped to each seat. Every valve is different. It's the right way to do it. And I said, well, but they're not, the valves are not in, the springs are not in, the keepers are not in, the valve stem bushings are not in. It's not together. I said, well, you said it's done. Yes, sir. It's done. You take it. I said, well, you have to put it together. Oh, put it together. That's extra. So I said, well, how much extra? $50. So I paid him $100 to do the job, and he did the job, but he didn't put it back together. Extra is if you want it back together, you have to pay extra. This has got to be a Ferengi rule in there someplace, that if they take it apart, they do the work, they mark everything where the work was done, and then they give it back to you in a box, but they don't put it back together. That's what I mean about when you do business here. It has to be a 10-page contract and video and voice recordings. Otherwise, you're going to pay extra. And you might pay extra anyway, because they'll just say at the end of that, there was a problem. We have to pay extra. And you have to pay extra. Welcome to the Philippines, baby. I'm Big Permy, which means, of course, take care always. Bye-bye for now.